So let's start with this. I have been on Kyler Murray's side. He's the quarterback, the diminutive quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. 3 years in the league, he's gotten better each year. I'm on his side. I think he's a special player. His personality is a little off-putting for me, but whatever. Aaron Rodgers drives me nuts. Baker can drive me nuts. Whatever. I don't have to love all these guys. I was never into Cam's personality or Jay Cutler's. Whatever. If a guy can play, he can play. I've been a Kyler guy. But I got to tell you, in my life, I've had 4 agents. And I bailed on a bunch of agents. Because as my late mother once told me, they're going to be representing you in rooms you won't be in. Choose carefully. Eric Burkhart is the agent. I don't know him. I know some NFL agents. I don't know him. Of Kyler Murray. Big misstep. This is bad. He also represented Johnny Manziel. And for those who remember, I was not a Manziel fan. I didn't like his personality. I thought some of his actions were startling and weird. It turned out he had, sadly, an addiction issue. Kyler Murray's a really talented guy. I think his agent underserved him badly. They released something that looked like a menu, way too many words, completely transparent. It makes it look like Kyler Murray's completely into it for money. He's being paid $5.5 million this year. Okay, this is not minimum wage NBA stuff. He's getting paid $5.5 million. That's more than 90% of the league. Now, he wants to get paid a year early because he's a small quarterback, 2 years, hurt twice, and he's looked around the league and said, I'm not Josh Allen. I want to get paid early. I've made you relevant. To that, I back him. He's absolutely special. You can't teach a lot of this stuff. I've had multiple coaches tell me and tell you, best high school football player, Texas history. Well, that's a pretty good list. A lot of good players. So I'm a Kyler Murray guy. But that playoff game this year, I said it on the air the next day. He tanked. He refused to run. You know that wasn't Cliff Kingsbury's idea. Kyler Murray would not run in that playoff game. He made a decision, and it was a business decision, and I didn't like it. I'm not running. I'm not going to get hurt. So as much as I like Kyler Murray, I had an NFL pass rusher, and I'm talking a Pro Bowl pass rusher, a guy that's played against him, tell me 2 years ago, Kyler Murray does not like to get hit, and he wouldn't be shocked if he went back to baseball. Now, I don't believe he's going to go back to baseball. And if he was playing baseball today, I can assure you he wouldn't be making $5.5 million. That's not a ridiculous salary. It's a very fair salary. And I would pay him. But this stuff is always difficult. Trust me, we've read a lot about announcers coming and going and leaving. Stuff's always more complicated when you get into the 10, 15, 20, $30 million a year category for any employee at any business. It gets complicated. It gets complicated. Kyler Murray's first half stats pre-injury are unbelievable. His second half stats post-injury are very average, and that's what Arizona's worried about. And by the way, the NFL's not a league where you can say, listen, when I am healthy and I'm comfortable, I'm unbelievable. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Being available is a skill. Eli Manning all those years never got hurt. Favre all those years never got hurt. Russell Wilson, 10 years in the league, hurt briefly once. Tom Brady practiced getting sacked. Being available is a skill. Like Eli Manning played with bad offensive lines for most of his career. He didn't get hit, and he wasn't mobile. And Brady mostly healthy, and Russell mostly healthy. Cam Newton and Big Ben put their head down, ran into piles, and both eroded quickly. So this is not a league where I can pay you only when you're healthy and comfortable. Because most of the time you're not if you run around, and you're almost never comfortable in this league. Joe Burrow's great. He was never comfortable the whole playoff run. So this stuff is complicated. Again, I would pay Kyler. The division's good. He's really special. He's getting better. But this stuff is not just, 1, 2, 3, connect the dots. That last game, that playoff game, he bailed on his team. I refused to run. And I'm sorry, but his agent, Eric Burkhart, is underserving him with this nonsense. It's getting mocked all over the internet. Just come out and say it. Dude wants to get paid early. I'd have more respect for his agent and Kyler if they just came out and said, hey, man, he's small, he's been hurt, he wants to get paid early, he changed the franchise. And to his credit, Kyler's right, they were trapped. They hired a coach and a quarterback, and both bombed. They were trapped. But it's not like he's come there and won a bunch of playoff games and dominated the division. Like, the Niners are getting a Super Bowl since he arrived, and the Rams won a Super Bowl since he arrived. He's not like a first-place quarterback, so he doesn't have nearly as much leverage as his agent thinks. Where'd they finish last year? Yeah, it was like third. and there's no playoff wins yet. And he's making $5.5 million. Let's not cry, poorhouse here. He's making real money. Not as good as he deserves. Totally agree, and I've got his back on that. But I've gone through 4 agents for a reason. Just like pilots, dentists, sportscasters, mayors, not all are great. And I didn't like that move at all by Eric Burkhart. Totally transparent, way too long. Just cut to the chase. Don't take the audience, the consumer, the fans in Arizona to be idiots. They know what you're trying to say. Just say it. So I swear, I take a couple days off, and it's just nuts. There's all sorts of sports stories happening, and it's great to have you in. So the Packers, it's announced, are going to play a game in London, which is great because it's usually Jacksonville or the Houston Texans or like the Jets. So the Green Bay Packers, finally, our friends, our allies over in England get to see a good football team. So congratulations to London because they'll get the Green Bay Packers. It's been a steady diet of Jaguars football for years, and they probably think that's the highest end of their football is Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, no, you get the Packers now. So the Packers released a photo on Abbey Road, the old Beatles, right? The old Beatles photo. Oddly missing is Aaron Rodgers. They have Rashawn Gary and Jair Alexander and David Bakhtiari and Aaron Jones and Matt LaFleur. Where's Aaron in there? It's very interesting. Here's where I categorically divide from the rest of the sports media in America. This topic. And it's not just about Aaron, but it's kind of about Aaron. There's this feeling in the media in America, sports media, that talented pay them. It's just not how I see it. I own a company now. I have to pay people. It's more than that. Am I comfortable writing a big check to you? There's a lot of things. What's your age? Are you ascending? There's 2 things that matter to me because there was a story that came out this weekend that Aaron wanted $50 million. He denied it. Greg Jennings came out, called him selfish. I'm not taking sides there. I like Greg. I know Greg. And Aaron's denying it's $50 million. But here is something where I just disagree with the American media. The 2 things that matter to me if I'm going to write big checks for all these great quarterbacks. Number 1, playoff production. They're all winning in the regular season. I don't give a rip. All the great quarterbacks win in the regular season. What do you do in the playoffs? And number 2, personality. It matters. Okay, let's talk Aaron's playoff production. He's 7-9 his last 16 games with very good teammates. Okay, that's the reality of it. He shrinks. He plays it safe. I watched him against San Francisco. He's never been as good playing from behind as guys like Brady or Peyton Manning. That's why he's got fewer come-from-behind wins than Andy Dalton and Derek Carr. So that's number 1. He's a better regular season quarterback. It's indisputable than a playoff quarterback. I don't care that he wins in the regular season. Andy Dalton won in the regular season in Cincinnati. I don't care. Dak wins in the regular season. What's your playoff production? And the second thing is personality. Am I comfortable writing you a $400 million check? And increasingly, Aaron is self-absorbed, public, and kind of weird. So if I had a chart of the quarterbacks that I would pay $400 million to, I would just write a check. The 5 guys I would pay: Mahomes, Josh Allen, Russell Wilson, Joe Burrow, and Matt Stafford. I saw Stafford. His personality's not an issue. He's better in the fourth quarter than he is in the first. Those are the guys. Playoff production. I saw Josh Allen go toe-to-toe with Mahomes. Never shrunk. I mean, he just didn't get the ball last. Never shrunk. Mahomes, Russell Wilson. They got issues. It's never Russell. Russell Wilson doesn't shrink in big games. Joe Burrow took a bad offensive line to the Super Bowl. But this idea, this is where I totally separate from the rest of the media. This idea is like even Kyler Murray. I like him. And I'll pay you a year early, but I am worried about your personality. I am worried about you not running. I am worried about you not staying healthy. Like, I don't have a right to consider that. I'm the one paying it. And you're gifted. But this idea, I hear it all the time. Just pay Aaron. He's winning a bad division. Ryan Tannehill would win that division. Joe Burrow would win that division. Justin Herbert would win that division. Derek Carr would win that division. I'm not paying you $50 million because you can win the NFC North. Derek Carr would win that division easily. Easily. Tannehill won his division, which is better than your division. because at least the Colts are good in that division. So the idea that it's, he wins a bunch of games. Who you beating? So I said about Dak. I love Dak. He doesn't beat the great teams. He does win that crappy division, and he deserves money for that. I will write checks for that. But playoff production and personality, to me, if I'm giving you the Brinks truck, Mahomes, Allen, Russell Wilson, Joe Burrow, Matt Stafford, I don't worry about any of the personalities. I mean, Mahomes' family sometimes can be, but I don't worry about Patrick. I don't worry about Patrick at all. we all got crazy people in the family, okay? We all got people that are high maintenance in the family. Whatevs. But, this idea that just pay him. There are 20 quarterbacks that would win that crappy NFC North last year and the year before and mostly the year before. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.